Goldman Sachs is hopeful the global economy will top expectations in the new year, driven by strong income growth and the long-awaited end of aggressive rate hikes. What will define the economy in 2024? We turn to Professor Song Soo-young. Welcome back, Professor.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Goldman Sachs chief economist Jan Hatzius says the Great Disinflation is underway and that in much of the world by next year, inflation will be normal. Professor Song, what's your take on this?
Yeah, according to the Goldman Sachs report, they have addressed the global issues about the disinflation is underway. But clearly, it is very evident in the United States and also Europe area. So it is really, the disinflation is better than expected, which means that what I'm concerned right now, this is clearly the good news to the investors worldwide, because which means that the declining inflation implies that the real rate of return or real interest rate is increased a little bit. So, which means because of the declining inflation. But the problem is because nominal interest rate is remains until now quite high for the economy. So, what I'm concerned right now is the prospect of we have to deal with take into account of the effect of the high interest rate on the economic recovery or growth rate. So which means the recession might be unnecessarily caused by high interest rate. So the interest rate is expected to decline over the next year, but the frequency of the declining interest rate, according to U.S. Federal Reserve, and also in the euro area, clearly they will decline the interest rate. But how big is the effect, or how much frequently it has declined? Some economists is concerned about too hasty declining interest rates, such as, for example, the Mohammed Arirang has been concerned about that. They recommend the gradual decline of interest rate. But I'd like to say much faster declining interest rate would help the economy to sustain the current level of the growth rate and recovery of the economy.
So according to you, quicker maybe the better. Professor Song, it's also not an exaggeration to say the year 2024 is a global election year with around 40 countries expected to carry out their own elections. And one of the most attention-grabbing ones is in the U.S. in November. And some analysts are afraid that if Donald Trump comes back as a U.S. president, it may lead to the worst economic challenges seen yet not just in the U.S. Now, Professor Song, how? Please explain to us.
Yeah, considering the weight of the U.S. economy over the global economy and the effect of the Federal Reserve or the political situation in the U.S. must have a greater influence on the world economy, as well as the growth rate return or recovery of the growth rate. Clearly, Donald Trump, to that regard, because he is notorious for his inconsistency and the incoherence. So considering that, because Donald Trump has blamed Biden when during the last presidential election in the U.S., he claimed that the global stock, U.S. stock will be declining because of the Biden. Right now, the stock market in the U.S. has performed very well, quite well. Then he blamed the Biden administration's could have a very, the effect is just to make the richer stock to be richer. So he has blamed some divergence among the inequality because of the Biden administration economic policy and stock market resurgence. So to that regard, it is not a news. The Donald Trump has been always inconsistent blame over the U.S. The issue is because he is change or reverse all the policies, economic policy as well as diplomatic and the political policy in the U.S. as well as worldwide, all but Biden administration. To that regard, that is very anticipate whether the president, the Donald Trump could be or will be elected as a U.S. president. That is the key issue. But recently, the state of Colorado has declared that Donald Trump should not be listed in the U.S. presidential ballot. So how that could be a signal or harbinger that Donald Trump cannot be listed in the U.S. presidential election. But we have to wait and see because of United States are always composed of several states which has decided their own state policy independently of each other. Clearly, there is some kind of effect over each other. But so to that regard, that is uncertainty. But still, I believe is currently the Biden administration's posture has been improving a little bit in regard to the U.S. and China conflict. And also Biden administration put the pressure on the Israel and also decided to a little bit pull their leg or pull their involvement out of the U.S. and Russia, the Russia and the Ukraine war. So that means the intensity of the war or the conflict could be a little bit should be reduced, would be reduced most likely in year 2024. To that regard, the uncertainty cannot be increased. I think it will be decreased. So that would be a very favorable environment for the economy. And however, regarding the Korean diplomatic policy and the security policy and economic policy, currently, as far as I'm concerned, the Korean economy or policy has been dominated by some diplomatic consideration and the political consideration. So that is a little bit, I would like to balance a little bit more balanced and improved posture is required for the Korean economy to come back to what it used to be on the normal path of the economic growth.
All right, Professor Song Soo-young, thank you as always for your insightful comments. You have a great day.
Thank you for inviting me. Yeah.